hello. I'm good. How are you, Naledi? Ish, Lungisi. So yesterday, I wasn't supposed to go live, but I ended up going live. But I saw they didn't do CSS today, so yeah. Hi, Tizem. Thank you for the heart, me. I should have like a separate screen. I'm good, Tizem. How are you? Thank you for the heart, me. Thank you. It is hitting me for YouTube right now. The type of music I'm playing, YouTube is complaining. High art for you. So I want you guys to tell me what we are actually doing today, because yeah, let me see something. Oh, hi Patel. uh, this is a question, so if you guys can just let me know what we are doing between the two. Hello, YouTube. We're picking. Are we doing CSS or GitHub? Thank you, Attraction. Thank you so much. Oh, which camera am I looking at now? Huh? No, there's no need to create another workspace. Why can't I open TikTok this side? I'm an employee. I see most people said CSS, so thank you for that, Austin. Okay, please bring your phone. I wanna see something.
TikTok, man.
I was gonna just use it as is. Can you guys see? No comments there. Can you guys see? This is more for TikTok. I'm trying to fix it for TikTok. Because yesterday it was cutting on the side, so just want to make sure everything is fine. Okay, it's a bit blurry. Okay, but you can see the code, right? Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm guessing people want CSS. Do I have a moderator that can put a poll for me, please? Bloomies, you can download the source code. It's in the previous video's description. The source code is there, so you can just download it and then you'll be able to. Hi Kmo, how are you? I think we can get started. I've got enough people. Thank you for that. Hey, yeah, we're going live now. I did not expect myself to go live. Okay, let us get started. We're doing CSS today, so this is for the FNB App Academy. So just helping people, yeah, with whatever they stuck with. YouTube, can you hear me clearly? TikTok, can you hear me clearly? So we can get started. Okay, let's remove this comments thing. Can you just confirm if you can hear me clearly? Okay, YouTube loud and clear, TikTok perfect. Okay, so I guess people said CSS, right? So we'll have to just do this again then. So did people download the code and go over it? Because yes. Please answer the question. Okay, what was the first question? People want CSS, so I don't know if I can teach Git. Actually, I need like an image. The code to download, it's on the link in the previous video, and I'll just show a QR code as well quickly. This is the QR code to download the code. Yeah, I'll try and give you a pause. No. Thank you for the roses. Moderators. I forgot where to add these moderators actually. Okay, more. Okay, I think. Okay, how long would the lesson be? They're normally 2 hours. Normally the lessons are 2 hours. And then just move the text something. Okay, yeah, email it, but you can download the code on this QR code. You can download the code we used yesterday, and then importance of a div. It's basically a container for you to group things together. So, for instance, these three cards are in a container called cards because they are one. You want them to be the same thing, so you just grouping them to say I've got a bowl of apples, so you've got a bowl of cards or a div of cards. Okay, we'll try and do hyperlinks again, and then yeah, we'll try to do hyperlinks again. Thank you for the gifts. Okay, I think we should be should have downloaded by now. Or scan the QR code, but you can go to the YouTube video. You can go to the YouTube video from yesterday, and then in the description the link is there. Okay, perfect. Let's continue. So I guess we're doing CSS, right? Or should we do Git quickly? Because Git should be a bit faster than CSS. Yeah, I think let's do Git quickly, guys. Let's start with Git, and then after Git we go to CSS, because Git will be a bit faster. So I think it will be a bit difficult because they taught using the application being the GitHub app. So you download the GitHub app, but I use terminal. A website like Google, I am not sure, that would take forever. Cool, so let's get started. The first thing we need to download is Git, right? So you'll just search for Git download, right? And you will see a site called git-scm. Then you click on downloads, and then download the one required for your machine. So I'm using Windows, so I just click on download for Windows, and then you can download different versions, but I've got an ARM64 processor, so I just click there to download. Yes, terminal is free. So I'll click to download, and then my download will start downloading, right? So can everyone just go search Git download, not GitHub, but Git. So GIT download. Then this is the site we're looking for, git-scm. Is everyone still following? What does Git do? So Git is a versioning control system for you. So this basically is your communications between your local machine and GitHub. So whatever changes you do, yes, it's the same process on Mac. Whatever changes you do on your projects gets saved, and you'll have different. Yeah, hence I'm saying the problem is they taught using the Git app. So the GitHub app. So there's a GitHub. There's the desktop, GitHub desktop. So I'm showing y'all using Git, straight Git. Okay, so I hope we're done downloading. So remember, we search for Git, not GitHub, Git download. Git download. Then we'll see this one called git-scm. Open that and you download for your machine. So while after downloading, we open that file we just downloaded. So we'll open the file we just downloaded. It's an exe file, and you'll get this pop-up. Please make sure you say yes. ARM64 is for Apple on Windows. So I'm using a virtual machine on a MacBook, hence why it's showing as an ARM64. You might see x86 or x64. So after clicking yes, it will give a whole setup process, and you click next. You can add the icon onto the desktop if you want, and then whatever else you want, keep the ones that were selected, and then click next, and then you can continue. Next. No, you don't have to delete it, you can keep it on. Yeah, you should see x86. Yeah, so yeah, so it's just keep next. Yeah, next, then let it continue. Okay, cool. Kmo, cool. You'll just, after downloading the Git, you'll open the file. So double click on the file, it should take you to an installation window. Then you'll just click next. No, you don't have to delete GitHub. You don't have to delete it. You can keep it there. Okay, once you're done, you're gonna get this screen. This screen shows you that it's done, right? And what you need to do is you can maybe launch Git. You don't have to view the release notes, but you can just launch Git. Oh, Mac uses Homebrew. I forgot about Homebrew. Yes. How will I show you Homebrew? Yeah, so for Mac, you need to use the Homebrew one. So if you can follow the instructions of the Homebrew one, it will be, you'll just copy that command and then paste it. So for Mac, it should be this. So you copy this, right? Open your CMD or terminal and paste this and click enter. This is for MacBook. This is for Mac users only. Mac users only. Right, so we're done. We've installed Git. This is Git now. We have our Git ready. Now the next thing we need to install, or not install rather, the next thing we need to do is open GitHub on the web. So we'll open GitHub, github.com. If you haven't signed up, sign up. So we have to sign up to github.com, and then once you're done signing up, obviously I'm on my account, so I see all my repositories. So after signing up, after signing up, we want to now create a new repo. So what is a repo? A repo is basically a project within GitHub itself. So that's where other people can can make code changes and work on that same project all together using one project, and we'll have different versions. So if I want to make a change, um, we do that change, and then I can see that change, I approve it, things like that. So I'll try and go a bit deeper. So I'm just trying to just go over what a repo is, but I want us to get something going and then we can explain a bit more. So now this is GitHub, right? No, you don't have to download GitHub. We downloaded Git, right? Now the next thing we need to do is we are now on our GitHub profile, right? So we need to now create a new repository, so a new project. So you'll find new under, so to find your new, how do I zoom in a bit more? Let's try and do some font size. It's still not large though. Okay, I hope you can see now. So what needs to happen now is after you've created an account and opened your GitHub profile, you need to click on your profile icon there at the corner, right? After clicking on your GitHub profile there, you'll click on your repositories. So you can click on your repositories and it will take you to this page. So you'll see all your repositories in one page, right? But obviously if you've just created, you'll have 0 repositories. Now the next thing you need to do is you need to click new. So after clicking new, it will launch this window or this new page. This new page, thank you so much for the gifts. Is it setup or portable that we should download? Setup. So you need to download setup. So just download setup, not portable. Make sure you're downloading setup. Okay, cool. Now what we need to do now is we want to create a new repository, right? So we can call the repository whatever we want. Let's say we want to call it, what did we do yesterday? Power of CSS. So we'll call it power of CSS, right? So after having this, you can have a description if you want to have a description of the project, or if not, it's optional. And then the next thing is you choose whether you want this repository private or public. So if it's public, anybody can see it. So meaning someone can just go to your GitHub profile and they can see this project. And if it's private, nobody can access or see it, only you, right? And the next thing is a readme file. What is a readme file? A readme file is a file that is in your repository or in your project that allows people to see what the project is about. So let me show you an example of a readme file. So example of readme file would be this. So when someone logs in and looks at our repository for this mobile application, they will see this readme file that allows them to see everything about the actual project. So they can scroll down and see what we've done, things like that. So that's what the readme file is. It's just in the name, it's readme. So whenever someone downloads your repo, they need to read this file first. So in this readme file, we normally add how to set up the project, what features are implemented in the project, who are the developers of the projects, and how to actually run the project. So all the different stuff will be included in your readme file. So for example, if someone wants to build this project for Android, we put instructions on how they can do that. So it makes it easier for them when they download our repository and want to work on it. They see a set of instructions that they can use to actually work on this specific repository. So on this repository, we have a README file that contains all the information for anyone to understand what the project is about, right? So that's what add README file is right there. So for now, we can ignore it. No need to add it. Then git ignore. What is git ignore? So imagine we working on a project, right? And we are pushing code, then we have a point where we've got a file that contains, let's say, secret keys. So like your, let's say for something like a .env. So a .env is a file that contains all your environment variables. What are environment variables? Environment variables are basically your API token keys. So every important key that your APIs might use normally gets stored in an env file. So env files obviously now contain secret keys, your passwords and everything. If that gets onto GitHub, that's available to anyone, especially if your repo is public. So doing that will compromise all those access tokens or keys, and then you are no longer secure in that. So how the reason for git ignore is, if we have a git ignore, we telling git that when I'm making changes, ignore this specific file. So whenever I use git ignore, I will put that git ignore .env as an example. So in my git ignore file, I'll add .env. .env would be a name of a file, and if git ever sees changes, it will not track that file at all, so that whenever you push whatever, you are sure that that file will not be sent to GitHub. Remember, if something's on GitHub, it's out there. So even if you have a private repo, it's still a bit tricky because it's still on GitHub itself, so it's still out there. So make sure you add all your secret stuff for something you do not want to be in the public into your git ignore file. That's what the git ignore file is. The next part is a license. So license will just tell people if they want to use this repo, what type of license they need to follow. For now, we do not have to worry about that. Yes, it is available on YouTube right now. Yeah, so we do not have to worry about the license. So is everyone still following? Are we all on the same page right now before I click on create repository? No, I'm not following. Okay, we'll go back. I'm lost. No problem. Let's start it again. Let's start it again. So where are you lost from? Have you downloaded Git, and have you created a GitHub account? Don't worry, we'll just start again. If you can just tell me where I left you so I can start again. Okay, so after downloading Git, right? You double click on this file, on this Git file, right? You'll double click on the file, and then it will open up a window. This is the window that pops up, right? Follow what I'm doing while we follow. No, do exactly what I'm doing so we can all be together. So after seeing this, right, you click on yes, right? And then after clicking yes, it might complain for me because I've already installed it. Okay, there we go. After clicking yes, you will see this. You'll see this specific window, right? After seeing this window, you'll click next, and you'll just click next until the end. So the moment you see that window, you click next, make sure everything is still selected, and then you can click next all the way to the end. So you just keep clicking next, 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 all the way to the end. And once you're done with that, you'll get a success screen, or it will start installing, then you'll get a success screen. So even while that is still installing, we can go to how do I change font size? Text size. Oof, that is big. Okay, is this big enough? I hope it is at this point. Sorry, Prince, I didn't see that one. But yes, you just need to make it dark. And I'm using Wave because um, that's the one we normally use, because we'll be using Terminal as well as VS Code's what's this Git versioning control. So I will show you how we're doing that, so that as you're coding, you don't have to switch to different applications. Last step of downloading, do I select? Yeah, you can launch it, or you don't have to launch it. So if it says select launch, yes, once you're done installing, you can just say launch git bash. Launch git bash. You can select it and then click done. Then we go to our, oh, that's so big now. We go to our what you call this, our browser, right? And in our browser, what we need to do is we need to, let me try and see if I can go. Yeah, in your browser, make sure you've registered, right? And after registering, you need to now click on your profile. Your profile is at the top right corner, your profile icon. When you click on it, this will pop up on the side, right? This pops up on the, yes, select launch bash. Select launch bash. This will pop up on the side, right? After it pop up, click on your repositories. Right? So you'll click on your repositories and you should see nothing. It should be empty, right? You need to look for this green button. Can you kindly assist P what? I'd already downloaded Git before, but I didn't do any setting. What must I do? As long as your Git is downloaded, you should be fine. So if you downloaded Git, this specific Git before, you should be fine. Okay, so now the next thing is you need to click on new. So you need to find this green button, new. So mine will look a bit different now because I've increased the font size on my screen. So you'll click on new, and then you will see this window or this page saying create new repository. Where is it showing black screen? Okay. Thank you for the hot me. Okay, if there's an X button anyway, you can just click X. You can just click X if there's an X button anyway. Okay, no problem. I'll wait. So if hence I'm asking if everyone is following. So I'll obviously keep going back. Yes, and cause see, there's a YouTube channel. It's that is it right there at Simphiwe Radebe __. Thank you for the roses, Grabo. Is the black screen like? I'll try and see if I can show you. Why is it still cut? Okay, is the black screen like this? Is this the black screen? Is this what you guys are seeing? Oh, perfect. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. That's what we want to see. So you can just minus it, minimize it, and then go to GitHub. Make sure you have a account to create it. After creating an account, you will go onto this, your profile icon in the top right corner. Profile icon in the top right corner, and then you can click on your repositories. Thank you so much, Millie. Thank you so much for that, Millie. Yes, so after you've done, you'll click on your repositories, right? Are we all there? Perfect. So now what we have to do, oh, not yet. Okay. Okay, YouTube, are you guys where I'm at? Anyone else who's where I'm at, so we can continue? Thank you so much, Prince. Thank you so much. Can continue. Okay, there. Yes, perfect. Now we need to find a button called new, right? We need to click on this button called new. I can't check DMs at the moment while I'm live. If you can send an email. Oh, after. Okay. Okay, guys. So we need to find this button, this new button, right? So after finding it, click on it. You will see this saying new repository, right? Now, after finding this new repository, scroll down and you will see repository name. So what we want to do is we want to add the CSS project we did yesterday onto GitHub, right? So how do we do that? So to do that, we need to now have a name for it. So we can call it power of CSS, right? So whatever you want, even if you want also call it power of CSS. Yes, if it says create repository, click on it, it's fine. Because we want to have a new repository. Okay, so are we good? We add a name for it. So we'll call it power of CSS. And then description. Why description? So description will just make you put a description of what the project is about. So when anyone wants to check it, or you are actually looking at your project, you just have a description of a short description of the project. So teaching how to use CSS. Right? So description is optional, don't have to add it, it's optional. The next part is the access of this repository. So do you want people to be able to see this repo and they can commit and download it, or do you want it to be private where you can actually choose who wants to see this repo and obviously who can commit? So mostly public repos are those repos where we use it to promote our skills. So when we want to have different applications or websites that we've added on GitHub, so when a recruiter checks our GitHub profile, they can see some public repos that you've worked on. So that's what public is there for. So private means it's internal, no one else can actually download it without you adding them, right? So the next part is it's asking us to want to initialize this repository with a readme file. So initializing this with a readme file means we can add a long description about the project. So can you always change that? Yes, you can change it later. You can change it later. You can always edit later, except for the repo name. So the repo name will stay like that. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so the readme file. What is the readme file? The readme file is it's a file that has a long description of the project. It sometimes has instructions of the project, and it has lots of information for you to actually figure out what this project is about. An example of this is in one of my applications, I have this readme file. Now, when you look at this readme file, it has intensive or descriptive information about all the features implemented in it, as well as some project structures, authentication, and how to actually set it up. So you can see instructions on how to actually set up or run the app. So I tell you exactly how you can actually do it. So it will have the developers sometimes will let you know if people can actually um, do the same thing or can actually commit onto your repo. So this is a private repo, no one can actually access it, so it's private. So you can have instructions where if someone wants to download this repository, thank you so much, Musa, thank you so much. If someone wants to download this repository, they can actually do that, and they will have instructions on how they can run it. Remember, sometimes there's a lot of different dependencies and different stuff that we add. So this is just to help a person have instructions to say, do this, do this, do that, do that, then you can run this successfully. That's what the readme file is for. The next part, so we don't tick it for now. We're not gonna tick it because we still wanna do it ourselves, right? So you won't tick it for now. Then what's the next part? Add git ignore. So git ignore is a file that ignores all the different it ignores different stuff within your project. So sometimes in our project we have all these random computer generated files, right? And we also have some important files, like these are important files with secret keys. You do not want these, especially like envs, you do not want these secret keys to actually go into GitHub, because if these get exposed, people can use your secret keys for the wrong stuff. So if maybe you had an AWS API token, if someone gets that API token, they can use your AWS account using that token however they want. So the reason we have a git ignore is we add those specific files. So we'll add the part of the file to say, don't commit this file ever. So ignore this file all the time. Do not even look at it. So that's what the git ignore is for. Then a license just tells people what they can and cannot do with your code. So sometimes you don't want people to maybe reuse the code to make money or something like that. So you can add those type of licenses. So is everyone still following? Can we create now? YouTube. Okay, we're just waiting for YouTube response and then we'll continue. Good. Okay. Perfect. Now we will click on create repository. So the rest we keep on none. Yes, the rest we keep on none. So now we click on create repository. This will go ahead and create a repository for us. Oh no, this is too big. Now you should see this page, right? It will show you a quick setup, or how to create a new repository using the command line. So now that we have this is all we wanted, so we can go back to Git, or to actually use Git now in the terminal, right? So now what do we need to do? We need to now go onto our Git bash, right? And then in our Git bash, we need to write ls. So ls is called list, basically list. So whichever directory you're in, it will list all the folders you have. So where is your project located? My project is located in desktop, so I will write cd space capital D, exactly the way desktop is there. So desktop, enter. Then I'll open. After doing that, I do ls again to see what is there. So you remember we used the thing called week 2. Our folder name was week 2. So after we do that, we say cd week 2. Remember, this will be whatever your project name is. So what we did yesterday, that will be the project we are using. So see, you do ls to list all the directories so you can figure out where you are. And then if there's desktop, or if your folder is within your desktop, you will say cd desktop, exactly as it, with a capital D. If your desktop doesn't have a capital D, then you don't put a capital D, exactly as is. So you'll say cd desktop and enter. So if yours is maybe in downloads, you'll say cd space downloads, enter. Then after that, you need to, lost me on dashboard, desktop. Okay, let's start it again. Oh, okay. So in your search, you can just search git. You can just search git and click on git bash. So make sure you open git bash. Okay, perfect. After git bash, then you need to now say cd space des, or not cd, start with ls, enter, and it will show you all your directories, right? I don't think I can zoom in here. Oh, I can. Yes, we will. We will. So go to yesterday's video, Cyril, and download the source code. So the source code is in the description. Okay, I'll try to get to that. I'll try to get to that. Please just remind me again a bit later. Okay, so you see, we said ls, and it's given us this. Now, where is your folder located? My folder is located in desktop. So to now go into desktop, I say cd space desktop. Cd means change directory. So all folders are called directories, right? Now the next thing we need to do is we need to do ls again to see what is in desktop. So in desktop we have all these different stuff, and we want the folder week 2 because I named my folder week 2. So I can just say cd space week 2, exactly as is, click enter, and I will be in my week 2 folder now. Yes, this will be uploaded on YouTube, but if you have a question, just ask it now because I will go over it again. Okay, so now we've in our week 2 folder, right? So we can do ls again, and we will see all our files are in here, right? So those files we worked on yesterday are in here, right? Now when we go back to GitHub on the web, it shows us this set of instructions. So it says you can either do is this it? Yes, it's uploaded. It says we can either do a quick setup, or you can create a new repository on the command line. You're not getting the directory. I wonder if I should just use desktop. Do you guys want me to rather just use the GitHub desktop? Do you think it will be a bit too confusing? Yeah, so the reason I'm doing this is I want us to get Git working so that we can use VS Code Git and not use GitHub Desktop. That's the reason I'm doing this. So that once we go to VS Code, we already have Git. Ooh, that looks so huge. I think I might just go to um the desktop itself, because this will be a bit tricky for people. Okay, guys, it's fine. Let's work with GitHub Desktop, because I feel if I taught you guys Git, it would have been much easier in the long run. And yeah, normally, or I'd say most developers I know, we use the terminal. So so we use the bash version. I guess the reason they taught desktop is because it's a bit easier for beginners. Okay, I guess we'll go with get up desktop. What's happening? Are we good? Terminal. Okay, guys, let's just continue from where we were. Okay, let's see where are people stuck so that I can go back. No, don't download it. It's fine. Don't download it. Let's continue. Ignore that. Let's continue from where we were. Tell me where everyone is so I can either go back or we continue. So what we first did is, okay, let me do what Prince suggested. So to find where your project is, right? In your VS Code, right click on index.html and reveal in File Explorer. Let me repeat that. To find where your project is, right click on index.html or whatever file you have and say reveal in File Explorer. Once you say reveal in File Explorer, it will show you exactly where your folder is. So what you need to do is remember, if it's in desktop, just remember that it's in desktop and what the name of the folder is. That's all here at the top. You see where my mouse is moving? So that's here at the top. So there you'll see desktop, and then it goes to week 2. So just remember where that is, right? Is everyone good? Can I just get yeses so we can continue? Okay, cool. So now you've taken note of where your project is, right? In the desktop or in the downloads or whatever. So if you've taken note of that, let's go back to git bash, right? We're going back to git bash. Now let me just close it and open it again so we are in the same page. Yes, sessions are recorded and they are on YouTube. No, no, no. I'll go with you guys now. Okay, cool. So now we know where our project is, right? It's either in the desktop or downloads or documents or wherever, but we know where it is, right? So what do we have to do now? We need to type ls, just ls. After typing ls, you click on enter, right? You'll click on enter. So just ls, then say enter. Then it will do a list of all the folders within your directory. So wherever you are in the terminal, it will show you what folders are there. So you see there's desktop right there. If maybe your folder was in downloads, here's downloads right there. For you it might be a bit different, but it should look similar. Are we still good? Are we following? After just saying ls, you should see a list. After just saying ls, enter. It's not my personal email, it's a separate email, so it's fine. Okay, people aren't answering, so I'll just continue. Can you guys still hear me? Okay, and are we all on the same page right now? Miss Me will get to that. We're just trying to get GitHub. Okay, perfect. People are perfect. So you know where your folder is, right? Now you need to click on CD, or you need to type out CD space and then wherever your folder is. So no, no, no. Just wait as soon as you get to documents. So you'll say CD space, mine is desktop, so CD space desktop, enter, and it will show that you're now in desktop here on the corner, right? It will show that you're in desktop right here. And then if you maybe yours is in documents, it will be in documents. If yours is in download, it will show downloads, right? Then you say ls again and click enter, right? Now after doing that, you will see your folder. My folder name is called week 2. If your folder name is called, yes, so you need to now do cd into wherever you've saved it. So is it in downloads, is it in documents, wherever it's saved to. It's crazy. Yeah, so now I'm saying cd week 2, enter. Now if you have a space within your folder name, if there's a space, please make sure you add quotes. So copy it like this. So you'll say cd. So if you have a space in between, make sure you say cd space, copy it with the double the quotes, the single quotes. So if you do it, you'll say single quote section 3, because if you don't have it like that, you'll get this. So it will say too many arguments. So you need to add it into single quotes. Just make sure it's wrapped with single quotes like this, and then when you click on enter, it will not give you the error. It will not give you the error. So make sure if it has a space, you add it in single quotes, but you should be able to access your be in it now. YouTube. I learned on YouTube. Okay, guys, I think we should be sorted now. So now that we're done with that, let's go back to our GitHub. And that repo we had open. Oh gosh, where is it now? Oh, ish. That repo we just created. Let's go back to it. Now, what we need to do here is we have our git bash open, right? Then all we need to do is we can copy this first line, and right click and paste. Okay, right click and paste and click enter. It will create a new file, a new readme file, right? After doing that, you can just copy or type git init basically as is there, but don't go everywhere. Let's go step by step. So we go git init, click enter, and it will tell you that it's initialized an empty git repository. So now you should see here on the side, you should see master. This means you did it successfully. So now it tells you that your your folder that's local is now on git, and you've got a master branch, right? So master means this is where this is the main folder or the main branch, right? So remember, we done echo first. So you're basically just looking at these instructions, but don't go too fast. Let's start. So we say echo, that creates a new a new file called readme.md, right? And that's what's this markup document, right? uh, Cyril, are you able to maybe copy and paste it onto your desktop? Maybe it might be a bit easier. Okay, cool. So once we're done with that, right? So this prompt is around local machine, right? So it'll only go, yes, it's only local right now. So it will go to GitHub just now, but for now we are still local. So you see, after we've done that, it will show master, right? after it shows master, we need to now say git add space dot. So why am I saying space dot? Dot means add all, right? So remember, we're in a repository, in a folder that has files already. So if we said git add readme.md, it will only add readme.md onto your GitHub repo. So for now, we wanted to add everything. So we say git add dot and click enter, right? It will start, it will give you this and let you know, okay, if there's a warning, it's just a warning, it's fine. Doesn't matter, right? Then the next part, yes, we haven't even got to push yet. Let's wait. Let's wait. So we we on add, right? We just added all our files, right? And there's a way we can actually see what's happening. So you can just say git status, and this will show you a status of the current git, of the current versioning, right? So so this will show you a status. So it tells you that you're on branch, there's no commit yet, and these are the files that are going to be committed just now, right? So this is after we added. This is git add space dot. Are we still following? Are we still following? Natalie, yes, we do record. Are we still following? Following. Thank you so much for 10K, guys. Thank you for tapping. Perfect. Now, after we've got to this git status, we're just checking to see what is happening. So if we have commits ready or what branch are we on. So it's just the git status, right? Now we want to make a commit. So what is a commit? A commit is you combining whatever files you've done, and you're saying, I'm now saying this is a bundle of something. So git commit is, you are now saying that all these files that we have right there will be maybe, we'll call it git commit. We add a message, the message being whatever the description of the commit is. So you are now describing to say, I'm doing this specific commit, or whatever we've just pushed now has this. So the way we do that is we write git space commit dash m, small letter m. So dash m means you are committing with a message. So you are adding a message. Dash m means you're adding a message. So you won't have to worry much about this for now, but this is just so we can get started, and we'll use VS Code, which will make it a bit easier for us to actually do our commits and stuff. Now, you say git, we're not pressing enter yet. You say git commit dash m space double quotes. What will be the message? So this is obviously our first commit. You can call it your first commit, or pushing files, or whatever. So you make the description as descriptive as possible. So whatever you want to describe it as, you put the description there. I hope we're still following. After doing that, you will click on enter. Okay, so you might get this. Let me know if anyone has gotten this error of it not allowing them to push or to commit, I mean. So it needs to give you an author identity unknown. After trying to get commit dash m, then it needs to give you this error. Anyone else getting this same error? Or are you guys still typing? Okay, if yours committed, then it means yours was fine, or you've already set up your global user information. Okay, so someone's getting the error. So if you are now getting this error, you need to type git global dash dash git config dash dash global space user dot email. Now what you have to do here is you need to add your email address that you use to sign up for GitHub. So this is my email address. Click enter. Then you need to now add your name, so you can just say git config space dash dash global space user dot name, then put your name. Click enter. Then you should be done. Now to be able to just rerun that previous prompt or that previous command we just did, you just need to press up arrow 1 2 3 times to just find that one we just done of the commit. Once you're done with that, you need to still struggling with the direct. When I type cd and put any folder, it says no time. Cyril, you need to make sure that when you type ls, that folder is in this, wherever you see ls. So if it's not there, you need to say cd and go into it. Okay guys, we need to now commit the file, right? So for us to commit, we say git commit dash m and then whatever the message was. So we said pushing files. When we click enter, it will now do a commit. So this is the commit id, and there's the message pushing files, right? But now this is not on GitHub yet. This is still local. We have a commit that's local that is not pushed to GitHub yet. So we need to say git branch dash capital M. So this is now changing your master branch to whatever name you want. So some people call it main, other people call it master. We can call it main if we want. You can call it master, but now they've changed more towards main. So you can just say git branch dash capital M space main, enter. That will change here and become main. So this will become main instead of master. So it defaults to master, but you can change it and it becomes main. Once you're done with that, you can just copy this remote the remote command, because that will add your repository to it will add your repository to what's happening here? It will add your repository to GitHub. Oh, I want me to type it. Okay, so it's git remote add origin git at github.com /power of css dot git. Okay, so you can just copy or retype this specific line that you see there. After retyping it, you need to click on enter. This will add this repo, this local repo, onto your GitHub online, right? After doing that, you say git push dash u origin main and click enter. This will now push the files. Okay, you can just say yes. Oh, that's another thing. Nope, here I think we have to just use desktop at this point. Because there's a lot to explain actually. I never thought it would be so much to explain. Guys, let's vote. Should we move to desktop, which will be faster, or just go to CSS and recap on GitHub tomorrow? You guys let me know what you want to do. Danko. Yeah, I can also see it. It might be a bit too much for you guys. Uh, yeah, I know this thing is sometimes mission. Cool. No, let's switch to CSS. It's fine. Then let's command you. Okay, that's fine. Let's just jump to CSS again then, because I can also see that it's gonna take a while to get it, and it's hard that you guys are online. Mm, okay. Okay, guys, please download the code. This is the code we'll be using for today. Please download this code and then we'll explain. So the code is CSS. So it's what we'll be using for today, since we're moving to CSS now. So just download this code. You can either check the yesterday's description, which will have the link, or VBA. Yeah. So the code, yeah, is basically CSS. What we'll be doing today. So let's just download that fast and then let's quickly move. I think what I'll do is I'll record a video of GitHub and then post it as well. Yes, it's the code from yesterday. Do you want a WhatsApp group? It might be a bit easy actually, but I wanna do like a hey Mara once, yes. Okay, I've created the group. Mr. Mawetu, how are you, sir? Just close it all. Just close it all. You can add a link. Oh, it shows. That's dumb. Okay, I know on YouTube I can share the link. The link is in the chat on YouTube. Simphiwe Radebe __. Oh, thank you so much for the donut. Okay, guys, here's the link or the QR code for the WhatsApp group for TikTok. So if you want to join the WhatsApp group, here's the QR code. Yeah, I'll just keep it on the screen. it's not getting cut. Cool, let's continue. We're doing CSS now. Right, so oh, that means I can share the link in the group. So if you've joined the group, at least I can share the link. Hi, Simphiwe. Are we ready? Are we ready to continue? To join the group, the link is that QR code right there. So the QR code is the link. Can I please just reduce the size a bit of this, because it is huge. What a team. Rather create a new folder. Don't use it in the same. Create a new folder. I'll try and share the link. Is it the yes? That's the one. That's the one. Perfect. Let's get started. So the way we did it yesterday, I think, is we showed both side by side. I'm not making any money, so I'm not monetizing what I'm doing here, so it's not gonna affect me being copyrighted. Okay, perfect. So let's start as if we have not opened this folder before. Thank you so much. Okay, cool. So what we need to do now is we have that folder just downloaded, right? And for us to open that folder, we need to click on open folder, right? We need to click on open folder. Clicking on open folder, if maybe yours is in downloads, you will find it under downloads. Mine will be under desktop, and we open week 2. So this is if you downloaded the QR code. Oh no, that's now a different QR code. QR code is the WhatsApp group, and then this is week 2. So that's the folder. You'll find it in yesterday's video description. In yesterday's video description, you'll find the link, and you'll download and open the folder. So to start, we'll see these files except for readme.md. So you'll see these files, right? And after seeing these files, you need to open CSS Power. You need to open CSS Power. Yeah, so you open CSS Power, and this is the HTML file for what we'll be doing. So let's quickly see how this HTML file looks without any CSS done to it. So this is how it looks with the CSS, right? Now let's just unhide this. So this is how it looks without CSS. So this is a basic web page with no CSS. So it looks exactly like this, and the CSS helps us by styling it, right? So now let's go see firstly what is contained within our, let's see what's in our power.html, right? So in this HTML file, we all know now by now the head part of it, and we know why we have the body as well. So what we've added here is a header. So a header is just it's basically a group of navigational stuff. So normally your header would be part of your nav bar. So you know, on websites where you'll see home, about us, contact, shop, whatever. So that is normally your header. So it will always be at the top of all your content, right? That is your header. So we are just using this header element to keep it at the top. And in the header element, we are adding an H1 and a paragraph, right? So we're adding an H1 and a paragraph. Now, after doing that, we have a div. What is a div? A div is a container, and as you see what it says here, the div element has no special meaning at all. It represents all its children. It can be used with the class lang and title. So this is basically a container of everything in here, right? So we add a class name called cards, right? And the reason we have a class name is to differentiate, or to basically make this unique. So when we use it in CSS, we can call this specific container by this name called cards, right? Now, after doing this, we have 3 other divs within this div. So basically we have 3 other containers within this div. So think of this container as a block or a rectangle. So we are now calling all of these card. So we're giving it a name, card, and each card has its own H2 as well as a paragraph. So this is just some information, and then we are done with our HTML file. So basically it now looks exactly like this. So even if it's in full screen, it looks like this, right? Now, what does CSS help us with here? CSS basically helps us by adding some style to the that web page that we had right there. So let's see how it looks. I hope you all can still see the screen, right? Can you still see the screen? So basically now we have uncommented this file, right? Uncomment or commenting this. To do this, you just press slide side. I'm trying to get my settings back to prediction mode. Which settings are you talking about? So basically what needs to happen now is, Piwe, how are you, young man? What needs to happen now is you need to comment it out. You press control forward slash. So control forward slash comment it, control forward slash uncomment it, right? So now this is CSS of it. So now let's break down the CSS itself. So this is the final product compared to what we have here, right? So to break it down, we'll just close everything after. So the first thing we do here, let me do this. The first thing we done here is we added a margin of 0, right? Margin of 0, removed the margin, so it removed the margin, the default margin we'd have between our elements, and then afterwards we add so afterwards what we do is we add a font family. So a font family is basically your style of text, right? It's possible to make the background an image. Yes, you can make the background an image. So if you don't want color or something, you can make the background an image. So to do that, it's called background dash image. Then you'd list or source the image here, but I'll get to that shortly. So now after adding the font family, we added a background. The background is a linear gradient. What is a linear gradient? So you see how the color goes from one to the next? It like fades in between two different colors. So that's the linear gradient. And the linear gradient, we choose two different colors, or even if you want 3 different colors. So normally they use hex codes. You could also just write in VS Code the actual color, and it will get the color. So there's red and blue. So I'm just using custom colors, so it's hex code, and that's how it looks, right? Now obviously, so we added background, right? And then what is this linear gradient? This is you now having a function called linear gradient, where you want to add the degrees of the way the linear gradient is going. So how did you even get to this? So we have this here. You can download the source code in yesterday's video description. So on YouTube, yesterday's live video, you'll find this thingy. Sorry, are we still following? What is the degrees? So let me show you what the degrees is. So what happens with the degrees is basically the way the what's this, the way the gradient moves. So if we say 10 degree, you see it goes it goes like 10 degrees. Like it's a bit hard to explain this part, I won't lie, but the best result is 90 degrees because it goes for your entire background. So if maybe you had maybe like 180 degrees, this is how it would look. So it's just the way in which your gradient is moving, and then afterwards it's just the colors. Yeah, that's the best way to put it, the way the slant is. Okay, perfect, right? Now that's everything. Oh, that's not everything, sorry. Cool. So the next part is we want the color of our the code on my side. The code on my side is still running without CSS even though I have both files on the folder and the link is not commented. Please send a picture on the group. Okay, let's continue. The next thing we need to add is we want the color of our text to be a color we want. So to do that, we add we add this color, right? Coding with the phone, it will be a bit difficult because there's parts where you can't use a phone. There's some parts where you literally cannot use a phone. Yes, you can learn how to code, maybe your HTML, CSS, but now when it comes to stuff where you need to use good GitHub and stuff like that, it's not gonna work. Oh, so the reason yours is not working melee, just right click and rename style1 to style.css. So just rename it to style.css because yours is saying style brackets 1. So just right click on it and then rename it. Yes, until there's a group now. Okay, perfect. Okay, so are we still following? Because we're at the color. Week 2 lesson. Week 2 lesson what? 4. Where do you see week 2 lesson 4? Guys, are we still together? Okay, guys, let's continue. So TikTok is quiet now, but it's fine. Let's continue. So this color here, what this color does is it changes the color of this text right here, right? So if we had this as, let's say, this color, so it will change all the text to this specific color. So it basically does every text within the body will become a different color, right? I agree with you. Art for you. So if we wanted it to be black, that would be 000 6 zeros, 6, yeah. So your text would be black. If you wanted the text to be white, that's FFF. So maybe we want some sort of gray, so you can always also adjust it here to your whatever you want to get. I was doing this today on my lessons. Good work enough. No, thank you so much. It's a pleasure. But okay, let's maybe go with black, right? And then the next part is display flex. So what is display flex? So this now changes our layout. So if you can see our layout right here, so without the what's the code now, without the display flex, this is how it looks. Everything is underneath one another, right? But the moment you add a display flex, it puts everything in a let's close this. It puts everything in a row so that you can now manipulate where you want things to be. So when we use display flex, we are now flexing the entire body. Let's try and see if I can share the group again. Okay, let's continue. I sent the group link in the chat, YouTube. Okay, cool. So also, you see how we actually skipped a step. So you see how we've got, when we add display flex, this I think the best way to also show this would be to say, I want you guys to see the divs. So you see how after I've added this, let's maybe remove what we just did, the display flex, right? So you see this div, this power or this header is above this specific div with all the different cards, right? And the way we see this is how we've layered our structure here. So here we have header and then a div. So the reason I'm doing this is so you can see and so we can see that during it's so that we can see that this is how we have it layered, right? And the moment we edit display flex, it starts putting it in a row format for us to actually now start playing around with where we can actually put it. So if we put display flex, it's now next to each other, right? So it's no longer in that structure we saw previously, it's now next to each other. And now what we need to do is have a flex direction. So in which direction is this flex going to be? Do we want it to be in the row direction, which is exactly as is, or we want it to be in a column? So column would be yes, I think so, but I think there'll be assessments or assignments. Then you have to submit your work and all that, and then yeah. Sorry. Yeah, so you'll be doing assignments, submitting your work, and all that. But they'll obviously let us know exactly when that will happen and how it will happen. Okay, so what does column do? It changes. You see how the way it was before we added this flex stuff, right? So before we added this flex stuff, you see it's the exact same way. But the moment we add it, we're now able to manipulate and center this within our actual HTML file. So that's the reason why we added the flex stuff there. So there, display flex. So now we want to sorry, we want to align these items to the center, because you know, I don't know if y'all have seen the jokes of developers not knowing how to center a div. So this is how you'd center your divs. So it's a display flex direction. You align your items to center, and just like that your stuff are now centered within the screen. So everything is now in the center and it's no longer stretched out start to finish, right? Now the next part is adding some padding. So we add some padding. Hey, why is it on 0? So you add some padding of 32. So what does this padding do? Let us see. Let's try and see what this padding does so we can understand what it's for. So if we had no padding, do you see how the power of CSS is so close to our border, right? The edge, as well as look at this box of responsive design. The moment we add the padding of maybe 32 pixels, it now compresses everything. You see, it adds some space in between the sides so that it's a bit more closer and it's not too close to the corners, right? So that's what the padding did right there. Now I think because people went here yesterday, I'm sure maybe you don't understand exactly what this body is, right? So this is a selector. This is us saying that in our power CSS power HTML, we want to get this body tag, right? We want to get this body tag and do something to it. So the way you do that is you just say body and then you start putting in whatever you want to do to the body itself. So this is basically the syntax you'd be using. So you use body, add a space, and use curly braces, and then make sure these are indented. So these need to be okay. I guess it's for code readability, but just make sure that you have spaced it out nice so you can actually see the different properties. So you add different properties. You can see these properties on W3 schools if you want certain properties or you don't know which properties to use, but normally you wouldn't necessarily okay, let me not say that actually, because yeah. So yeah, these are the properties you'll be using, and then this will do changes to body specifically, right? Now this is, you see how here we have a dot, right? Here we have a dot, but there at the top we don't have a dot. And the reason for that is, the reason we have a dot here is because we're now calling a class. And you see, I did it wrong. No wonder it wasn't working. So there we go. Here's something I can explain because it's not working. You see how this power of CSS does not have a background right now, right? I added a dot because I was trying to select a class, but this is not a class. This is a tag or an element, and to select an element you must not have the dot. So as soon as we remove that, you see how now it has that black background I wanted to add. So I made a mistake and I was wondering why it was not working. So you see now it works. So maybe let's do red here so we can actually see the two different tags. Yeah, so this is now using the header tag. So if I had added a class name, then I could say dot header and nothing will change because now I'm still calling the actual class, right? So that's something you must be aware of. And there's another thing called IDs. So you can have an ID called header. So now you see how we still have that ID header and we still have header here, but it's no more red. And the reason for that is because we are calling it as if it's a class and not as if it's an ID. And how do we call an ID? An ID, we use hashtag. So hashtag is you referring to an ID. So you're saying hashtag meaning ID and the name of the ID. So this would be ID, then there's the name. So ID name, then class name. So class name, this is ID. Do we get that part? So the reason we've got hashtag is for IDs. Whenever something in HTML has hashtag, ID equals whatever, when you want to use it in CSS, you will say hashtag and the name. Then the dot is when it has a class. So class is dot. Yes, it will be uploaded on YouTube. Class is dot. Then if you want to just call a specific element, being these, your body or your div or your paragraphs or h2, without having to add the class, you'd just call it like that. So you just put the actual name without putting a dot or a hashtag. Sorry, need some sweets at this point. Are we all together? Are we all together? Wait, I think someone said I shouldn't have sweets. We're on the same boat. Okay, perfect. Let's continue. Right now, so we so we understand the difference between the different selectors, right? No sleep. I have to sleep. I have to go to the office tomorrow. But okay, cool. Now the next part is us doing the header, right? So how do we do the header? No, my throat, yo. I think I caught some flu. And guys, me, I might leave y'all soon because yeah, I really need to sleep, and then I think I'll go live a bit earlier tomorrow because I can see which I think we also wasted a bit of time on the GitHub stuff. But yeah, let's just try and continue and finish this whole thing. And then what I want us to maybe do is remember that egg website we did. I will definitely do that. Remember that egg website we did? Maybe we can try and use CSS to make that look much nicer. So let's just explain the different stuff here, and then we'll use that. But yeah, no, I will definitely go live maybe like at what's it? I go live at 8, so it's 7. Go live at 7, and then yeah, my GitHub is sips. Okay, so the next part is the header, right? So now we want to style this header. How do we style this header? So let's just go to this. Let's go to this and now see how we can style the header. Okay, we can remove that black background, right? So the first thing here, same thing we just did now with the red background. Maybe we can even keep it red. We add a background color, right? Now after the background color, we have sorry. Let's remove that. Cool. After the background color, we have padding. What does the padding do? So if I remove this padding, yeah, Windows, yo. The problem is some of them have fallen off, so I don't think those are the those aren't the greatest ones. There's also some here, but I'll definitely try and do like a tour of the certificates. Okay, cool. Where was I now? Padding, yes. So if you look at this specific if you look at this, do you see how the text itself is touching the box, right? We do not want it to touch the box. Padding helps us add some space inside so that it's tucked in nicely within itself. Margin would be on the outside, padding is within the element itself. So when we add some padding, it will now put padding top and bottom. So 16 pixels would be on your right and left, right? And then 32 pixels will be on your top and bottom. So the reason I have it together like this is if you put padding and you add 2, it will take the first one as left and right and take the second one as up and down. But if maybe you wanted to specify it, you can write padding padding top being 16 pixels, then you can say padding bottom 16 pixels, padding left whatever you want, padding left 32, then padding right. So you see, compared to having just one line, you will have 4 lines of code, whereas one line can do everything for you, because you know left and right are the same, top and bottom are the same. You just put it exactly like that. This will be your left and right. The first one is left and right, second one is top and bottom. So first one is left and right, second one is top and bottom. That helps you just have less lines of code, and you can just finish it a bit easier. Then the next part is box radius or border radius. So what does the border radius do? You see this curve on this box now. The curve came after we added this border radius. So if we move the border radius, but no, are you understanding though? I need you guys to understand. It's fine. Okay, let's continue. The next part, like I said, we want to add some curve to this because this is a sharp box, right? So everything has rounded corners nowadays. So to do that, we have something called a border radius. So it will take the header and give it a border radius. So meaning you're adding some curves, right? So adding curves of 25 will look like this. So you can customize it however you want. If you wanted 50 pixels, this is how 50 pixels would look. If you wanted 100 pixels, this is how it would look. So now it's beginning to look like a circle. So you see, this is your border radius. Obviously there's a max because it's just a radius, but you just use it according to how you like it to look. Some use minimal, like 15. You see how 15 looks, and 25 actually shows a bit more. Yeah, that's your border radius basically. Then the next part is the box shadow. This is the box shadow. So you see at the back, or just below the, you see below the box or below this header, there's like a shadow. So if I remove this, you'll see the shadow is not there anymore. And I wonder if it's a bit clear on YouTube. So the next part, like I said, box shadow, right? So this is adding a box shadow. And how do we do this whole thing? So this means your I think it's horizontal effect, then this is your vertical effect. So this is off the actual blur, or off the actual shadow itself. Let's put 20. So it's a bit subtle, but if I maybe add this to 2, you see the box shadow right there. If I make it 30, it will move a bit more down. So this is your vertical effect, meaning do you want it to go more up or do you want it to go more down? And then this is your horizontal, so do you want it to go left or do you want it to go right? So if I added 30 here, 30 pixels, it's gonna move more that way. So you see how it's moved? So you see it's now moved that way a bit. So this does, I can't get the shadow one. I've been missing TikTok. Cool. Yeah, so this is basically what it is. This first one deals with the shadow moving left and right. Then this one deals with the shadow moving up and down. So if you don't want it to move to the right, you have it as 0, and then it will stay just like that, and then you can have this effect however you want. So if maybe you think 20 pixels is good, then you'll add that 20 pixels and then change. This will be your blur effect, right? So how much you want it to blur. You see how it's blurred a lot. If you put 10, you can still see the shadow a bit more, and the less it is, the more intense the shadow will be. So if we put maybe 3 as an example, there, the shadow is still there. Then 4 will blur it a bit more, and so on and so forth. So that's literally that. So those are the differences between those. Then there's obviously now this color here. This color is an RGBA color. So you can obviously just write RGBA and hover over it, and you can change it to whatever you want. This would be black, you see. Obviously you do not want black, so you want it to be transparent a bit. And how you add transparency is this number at the end here. So this number at the end deals with transparency. See how it changes when I make it a bit lower? So it makes it a bit more transparent. So do we understand that part of box shadow? Yes. Perfect. Now, what is the margin? Margin bottom and margin top. Let's see. So the moment we remove these two, right? So you see how this box of responsive design is touching our power of CSS box. The reason it's doing that is because we're not putting some margin. Remember I said at the start that the padding is for inside, right? It's for the inside of this. Then the margin would be for outside. So if you want to add some margin, you'd say where you want to add the margin. So you want to add some margin at the bottom and some margin at the top. So as soon as I outcome you'll see the difference, how it moves a bit more down, and it adds some space between these two. So that's what the margin bottom and margin top does. So you'd use that when you are adding some spacing outside of the element. So when you're adding some spacing outside the element, that's what you use. And when you're adding some spacing inside the element, that is what you use. No, 100%. Thank you. Art for you. Cool. So this is now text aligned. So you see how the text is aligned to the side because it defaults to aligning to the left. So if you want your text to align, thank you so much for joining the team, Prince. If you want the text to align centered, you just need to, thank you for joining the team, you need to add a property called text align. This property allows you to align the text within the header that you are using center. So if maybe you wanted it to be start, you change it to start and it will be start, meaning left. And if you say end, it will go to the end. My portfolio. That's my portfolio right there. Yeah, so this is your end. So it depends on where you want to align your text. So if you want to align your text to the end or start, you'd use these two different this specific property, and then you can do so. So we want our text to be centered to the center. Sorry, yeah, aligned to the center. And then afterwards, this is animation. So for animation, where will they teach you guys animation, huh? So animation does this. You see how this now slides in fading in, right? That's what the animation does. So to use animation, you just call or you write this animation property, and then you need to now define your keyframes. So you'll name it whatever you want. Maybe I'll name it, yeah, so obviously since this is fading in, you name it whatever it's doing, and you put the seconds of how long you want that animation to last for. So if you wanted it to last for 1 second, you'll see how fast that animation now moves. And if you wanted to last for 5 seconds, it moves for 5 seconds till the end. So that's what happens there. And then you are just telling it that I want it to ease out, meaning it needs to like be a bit smooth and it needs to move forward, right? And the way this keyframe works is you create the keyframe, give it a name, and then you start with your from. So from means where this animation starts, what must happen, where does it start. So the way we want it to start is we want it to start as an opacity of 0, meaning we want it to be transparent. You see how it looks transparent? So we want it to be like basically invisible, and we want it to start at a position of negative 100 pixels on the Y. So on the Y meaning on the Y axis. So that's up and down, right? Y is up and Y is up and down. So basically if I say negative 100 pixels, it means it will go negative 100 pixels up. So if maybe I say 20 pixels, you'll see it's a bit less. Thank you so much for the rose. Oh, 20 pixels, see, it comes from the bottom because your where it currently is right now. So think of my hand. Can TikTok see my hand? Yeah, so think of my hand as the power of CSS, right? This is the power of CSS. Currently, this is 0 pixels, right? So we are saying that start must be not at 0 pixels. It must either be up being negative or down being positive. So if it's at 0 and we want to start up, we'd say negative pixels. So negative 20 would take us from the top coming back to 0. Then positive, so meaning if we say 20 pixels, it will start at the bottom and fade up. So it will fade up because we are saying from positive up, then negative down. So that's how it works. So the if I put a negative 20 there, you'll see it will come from the top, and then if I put a positive 20, it will come from the, maybe let me put 200 so that it's more effectable. So you see, if we put positive, it starts from the bottom, and then if you put negative, it starts from the top coming down. Do we understand that part? Oh no, portfolios, man. Hey, I don't use CSS. I use Tailwind, so it makes life so much easier. I use Tailwind CSS. Yes, this is saved. Stall right till infinity. Not going back. I have bad bugs, I have roaches and rats. I'm not going back. Making this cheese cannot be as easy. I'm spending and making it back. Okay, cool. You guys haven't said if we're good. If we're still following. It must be a catch. We're still good. Perfect. So that's how the from 100%. That's how the from keyframe works. And to means where are we ending up. So we are saying we wanted to start somewhere, but where must it end? So that's what the to does. The to says we want you to end. And remember, if you started with let's say a property, you change the opacity, you need to obviously now at the at the 2 to add that opacity and change it to something else, because you can't keep it as 0. Or you see, so basically what I'm saying is your from needs to be identical to your 2, because you are saying it must go from something to something. So if you change the opacity, it needs to go from opacity of something to opacity of something. If you change transform, it needs to go from a transform of something to a transform of something. So these two need to be identical in terms of the properties, but the values must obviously be different, because you wanted to move from something to something else. So here, this translate y means we are editing the y-axis. There's different translates. They translate xy, translate x, translate z. Z would be more of your 3D space now, but those are the different ones. So we just wanted maybe negative 40 pixels. Yeah, so negative 40 pixels will animate in like that, and we wanted to end at 0. Maybe we wanted it to end at 60. So now it will go all the way down and end somewhere else. This is where it will end. So if we wanted it to end at 200, it will end at 200 pixels. And you see how it was still a bit invisible or transparent as it was moving. It's because it's still transforming from 0 to 1. As soon as it gets to the end, it's now on 1. So do we get that part? But obviously it's best to put it at 0, because you want it to end where it's supposed to be, unless you're doing some different animation stuff. I hope we're good there. Nice. Put the future behind us. Okay. Can we thank you so much, catch up to 100%. I think I'll also leave soon, but let's try and just get to the last part. Okay, so the next part was just the P and H. So here what happens is we are just adding a margin. We're removing the margin, making it 0 of this H, and we're adding a font size, making it bigger, and then we're giving it a color. So obviously this blue looks a bit ugly on that red, so use your designer eye and pick something that might look a bit nicer. Blue, I mean, what's red goes with, yeah, red goes with yellow as well. Oh, black. Even white. Yeah, so that's what you do. You just changed whatever. Then for P, we are just changing it to, making it a font size of 20 pixels. So we just want it to be a bit smaller, right? Then after that, we have the card. This is now the important one. This card does this. Card is basically this. So remember UL. Okay, I don't know if the people here did the ULs and the ordered lists, unordered lists, because this is similar to that. These are your list items in a way. So we just have these all. Yes. So we have all of these as basically list items, but this would be your list. This would be your UL, and then think of these. Let's close it up. Think of these as your LIs. So think of these as your LIs. So you see how it would look. So it's like this is your UL, and then in the UL it has some LIs, LI. So we made these the same class because they have to look the same. So if maybe this one we didn't want it to look the same, we'd say card 2, have that one as card 1 and card 3, and then these would have to do separate adjustments to it. But the moment we have the same class name on both of them or all three of them, they all take that same effect, and then they all are now the same throughout, right? And then what's next? I hope we could there. We understand that part. So I just want to show you all the actual CSS. So the way this now becomes like this is the same thing we did at the top. So we just change the background color. So again, we can do whatever color you want, maybe a yellow. So it would be a yellow box now, and the padding does padding inside. So if we had no padding, it would be looking like this. So you see how bad that looks. So the padding basically gives it some space within itself so that it does not touch the text. So as soon as we add padding, this is what happens. It at least opens up itself nicely. Border radius we explained, so it's basically the corner. So maybe if you thought, oh, this looks nice without the border radius, then you keep it without a border radius, but we just want some curves, right? So there we go. Then your box shadow we explained, so that's how you just have your horizontal effect, vertical effect, and then this is the distance of your actual the distance of your blur, right? Then you've got the color, then your transparency. Then this is translation. So this is now saying what needs to happen to this thing. So we want this to transform 0.3 seconds. Let's see what 2 seconds does. So this changes the box shadow. What if you have too much text in that card? How to wrap the text? So if you have a lot of text, the reason we're adding what's this? Let me show you. Let's say lorem. So you see how it automatically adjusts because we've used a flex box at the beginning by flexing our items, right? And then it will automatically adjust based on the text. So since we've used the flex box, the div itself will adjust according to the text. So the more text it has, the more it will actually expand. So here I've added more text, so you see it's expanded much more. Here you go. So it just, so the only problem is some people would add default width and height to the so you see if I added a default height, let me show you. If I add a default height to this thing, it's not gonna be able to, you see it can't keep everything within itself because we defaulted the height. So the height is not defaulted, we want only the width to be default, then the height will be adjusted based on the content, based on the text or whatever is inside of it. I hope you understand that part. Then the margin is obviously outside, so if we had no margin, this is how it look. So you see everything is touching one another. So as soon as we add a margin, at least it removes all that or it basically spaces out nicely between the box outside as well as the boxes within themselves. Then you can also do text align if you want to align the text centered. It will do all of them as center, but if you don't have it, then it will automatically start with or default to responsive. Why am I saying responsive? The left hand side. I hope we're still good. We understand. Okay, let's continue. Now, this is an interesting one, right? It is a lot. It's a lot to take in, but we can obviously you just go through it, write down questions, maybe share them in the group. Since there's a group, it'll be a bit easier. Can answer there, and then yeah. So we're almost done. We're almost done. So this is an important one when you want to do some nice state management or state effects, right? So this is to say element card on hover. So this is to say when the mouse hovers, you could even do click. It's click now. Is it double? Yo, I don't remember these things off head. How are you able to affect each bug? Which tag does that? Okay, so if you want them to be done individually, all you have to do is they need to be named differently. So this would be named 2, this would be named 3. So you'll see how now it will change. You see how 1 is the only one that's changed. The rest are still the same because they don't have the same name. So the reason they are changing together is because we're using one name called card, and all of them were using that same name called card. That's why they were all changing the same time. So you can make it card 2 and 3, then maybe just duplicate this, copy, paste. What did I do? Don't forget to pray. Yeah, so let's say you had this, so you can just call this one card 2, and then you can maybe make this one orange, right? So you see now they're different, they're not the same. But and you see the hover only works on this one because this one is called card, and card 2 is the one that this one is. So that's how you do make it different. I hope that makes sense to you. Cool. So what the hover does, like I said, it does a specific animation or a state. So, oh no, on hover is a state, meaning something is happening. So it's saying when the user's hovering, do this. So we want to transform the scale. Scale being currently it's at 100%, right? And we want it to maybe go up by 2%. So you'd say 1.2, and when you hover over it, it will move up by that much. If you said move up by 10, you'll see how big it will move up by. You see, that is very big. And then it will try and zoom back out, right? So you can play around with this. Maybe you wanted to go less, 0.1. See, so that goes backwards now. So that goes all the way back. So if I say 0.5, yeah, so maybe 0.9, that's like 90%, so it will move back. So on hover, all of this will happen. So on hover, this will happen. The background color, you can make it do whatever when someone hovers, and then the color will also change, meaning the color of the text. Because if we had this color of, let's say um we had a yellow, yeah, we had a black text, right? And now we have a blue background on yellow. As soon as we do this, you see it does not match up well. So you can say that when we're on hover and we know that our background is a bit darker, you can change it to be a bit lighter, and then it will look a bit nicer. So also there's this nice thing called a cursor, where you can change it to whatever you want, to pointer, progress, whatever. So if I name this progress, as soon as someone hovers over here, it changes their cursor to this progress icon. Do you see how it looks? So do you see how it looks? So you have many of these. So let's see, copy. So this will do a state to say as soon as someone hovers, it does something to, so that's some fun stuff. If you want that when someone hovers on something, it needs to show a progress icon or a pointer icon, then you can also have those certain effects there. So you see, it moves from that to a pointer icon. Do you understand that part? I'm the man. I need to play golden actually. Huh? It's too late. Are we understanding? Are we still good? Still time. Yo, let's edit this up. Only now you wanna do it. I've been trying to make a different background color for this, but it gives me the same color. I love this kind of stuff. There's gonna be a bit. Yeah, I don't know how to do that because I heard people say they can't download. Say yes, there's a WhatsApp group. I want us to just finish this so I can end it now because I need to sleep. Don't go there. I'm diving. So we understand this, how we did this hover, right? So that's how we did the hover. On hover, something will happen, right? Then the next part is the cards. So this is now within. This is now this specific. You see the white background. That's that div. So that's now this div. This one. We now want to edit that. So we're adding a display flex, and we changing the flex wrap to a wrap flex, and then we have justify content, meaning make it center and a gap between each other. So the reason for that is, you see now when we yeah, so you see how it looks right now, right? And the moment the devices change, it will automatically adjust and put the icons where, or the cards where they need to be. And you see how this card changes to the same size as this is because since they're on the same page, they need to look alike so that they are so this is basically responsive design. So if this is on a mobile device or on a tablet, it will try and adjust it and look nice according to whichever device it's on. It's me if one when you know it. You don't know when it comes to the works, it clearly misses and then this is just media width. So you change the font size based on the max width of the screen. So as soon as this figures out a max width of the screen, it changes the font size. So maybe if we said 12 here, you'd be able to see what I mean. Say 10. Yeah, so you see this is CSS and media queries. Yes, 100%. These are the media queries. So this is basically to allow you to do certain edits to different elements within the same file, but only based on a certain width size. So this maybe would be if it's on a screen, you want it to be, you want the H1s to be a specific size and to have a specific color or font, whatever you want. So that's what this media query does. So for now, that's about it on this specific thing. So we have edited it a bit from what we had in the beginning. This background here is just for illustration purposes, so we can see what does what. So you don't have to have that, so there's no background there, and this is how it will look. Thank you so much for the rose. This is how it would look without. So you can play around and fix the coloring, because obviously now, because we added red and stuff, that background looks very ugly. I'm not learning, I'm teaching. Let's see what would look nice. Hey, that's something. Oh, that's terrible, very bad. But yeah, that's basically it. So you've got your hover effects, you've got your animation when this comes in, and then yeah, and responsive design. So I hope you've downloaded the code. You can play around with it, try and see. Oh, background image, thank you for reminding me. Oh wait, Sims. Okay. So the way you'd add a background image quickly, you'd say background dash image, right? You say URL, and this will be where your image is. Oh, so see, this is Copilot stuff. Copilot gave us a link, so you don't have to use a link. This could be whatever image you have within your folder. So I have no images in here, surprising. Let's try and see how we do that if we had images. So firstly, if you check this background, you see how it cuts, right? So you see how it cuts. We need to do something else to it. It's background. There we go. Click. Show the code around. So you see, what I did here, these three helped us add a background image, change the size, as well as the position. So position needs to be center, then the size needs to be covered so that it fills up the entire screen, and then the image uses a URL. So the URL could be images within your project. So you could say images / whatever image you have. Maybe you had egg 2, so you see it will add that as the background image. So you'll see that part. So the way you add a background image, you add this called background image, then add a URL, open brackets, and then quotes. Then you can add the image in there wherever the image is. So if you want a URL, you can add a URL. You can add a URL because you see this background I have right here is a URL, and then this just means the background must not repeat, so it doesn't do that collage type of thing. Size cover makes it fill up in the entire screen. And then background position center makes you center the entire image, the background image. What to do to keep the quality? It might mean that the resolution of the picture you've downloaded is too low, so the moment it gets there, it's like it's stretching it or like zooming in, so the quality is not the best. So try and download high resolution images. Use Unsplash. Unsplash has high resolution images, and you would see the difference. Then someone asked to see the code that created the cards. So this is the code that created the cards. So it's these 3 divs, or this div with 3 inside, right? That's what created the cards. Then the code, the styling that done the cards is this one, these ones. As well as this one. So it's just these 3. And that's how you can get those cards. Are we understanding? Are we good? Perfecto. The background part again. Or you wanna see it? We'll definitely do that out for you. It's a pleasure. No, not at the moment. I showed us how to add this onto a browser on the first lesson, right? Or was it second lesson? I did something extra. I don't even know what we're learning on week 2. Nami, I'll see you on Friday. 6, yes. We did this in day 1 or day 2. And then I am Aisha. I don't even understand. Nagana ise abe ki simo. See what? Small. Ga ke itse gore go dira lang ka tlhaloganyo sepe. You don't understand anything. Naga ise abe ki simole. What? Simo? Oh, yo. I just see that last part. That last part, eri. Ga ke itse gore go dira lang Ki. Yeah, you don't understand anything. Yeah, that's what I got there. She has not studied, doesn't understand. Alright, yeah, it will be uploaded on YouTube. So as soon as we end the stream, it will be uploaded immediately. So I just need to explain background images again, and then someone said with the background effect, does one remove the gradient effect? Yes. So if you add this, or do you want a solid background is what you're asking. So you'll see, you see it chooses the background image. No, it's okay. How to add color to the background? Oh, color. Okay. So to do that, sorry, background color. This is how you add background color. So if we wanted it to be red, you just write background color. Literally, that's all. That's how you add it. You can't back. You just add background color, and then put the color you want. The real problem will be when we get back end is gonna hit. Yes, there's a video that explains how to do it on Google. So sorry, there's a video that explains how you can upload this. It's on day 1, I think, at the end. No, I think I didn't do it on YouTube. Actually, I didn't do it on YouTube. I remember we closed TikTok. Yeah, I don't think I did it on TikTok. But yeah, push to GitHub using Git. Do you want me to push to GitHub using Git? So the problem is I was doing the Git. The problem now was that what is it? Your SSH key. Show SSH. I just keep forgetting how to show my SSH key or get my SSH key. Windows. If you can come tomorrow and remind me, I'll show it tomorrow. What kind? Kids in the supply. You see it? Yeah, there's that. What is it? Yeah, I said on the wrong one. We just created it now, boss. Yeah. It's C users. Make it take. Yeah, the thing's a lot. It can't find it, that's why. Where username is here? There's no username. Please reply to my inbox. Okay, I will do that. What did I call it at the top there? 7 o'clock. I give up. So you wanna access and / no, yeah. Hence I do not use Windows. Don't know why I'll still use Windows in this life. Because they use backward slash. Without view SSH key. Get it. Yeah, I think we're done. I also don't have an IT Varsity LMS. I don't have IT Varsity LMS, unfortunately. Yes, I will respond, Banera. You should get the images on Unsplash. Is this called Unsplash? But yeah, no guys, thank you so much. Let's end it there, because yeah, we can see this tomorrow. Tomorrow 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. Those IC Varsity certificates as requested, please. I don't know where the thing is. They fell. I think oof. This was the oof. Let's remove this blur. Yeah, this was what you might call this. The App Academy thingy in KF level 5. It was MTN at the time. What else do I have? Then I've got these Raspberry Pi. Then these are just my articles. And then the rest are just Udemy certificates. So it isn't like, yeah, it's like Udemy. I don't have to go take them down. Or I can like zoom into them. That's how you got a job. Yeah, basically. So I used all my stuff, put them all together. Udemy certificates, every single thing. That one up there is, there's one up there. Yeah. I'll just try and put them together, then I'll show them. But yeah. Yo, can I change the size? You guys made the size so big. Thank you guys. Obviously before I leave I need to go into one match nyana and lose. Just before you sleep. One nyana match. Thank you so much guys for joining. If y'all don't join, it makes me feel like, you know, I'm doing this for nothing. So thank you guys for joining. I'm using a MacBook, but this is just a virtual machine. You're not prepared. It's fine, we just tap. Literally just tap. No gifts needed. Thank you so much guys. And I wanted to start this thing just for fun. I don't think people actually like needed it like this. And I was like a thing of, let me just see who I can help out there. And there's so many people I can help out there. I don't know, as soon as this thing can show. Oh, there's 90 people on YouTube. What? Hi, 90 people. I did not. Yo, 90 people. Guys, Kalani subscribe. They said I must ask you guys to subscribe. And I don't want to ask, but can you please subscribe? Subscribe, Annie, like, comment, share. No. So I basically just approached them and I asked them if I can do it, and then we made it a bit official. Yeah, 100%. Yo. I know people are in a busy. I think I can just go out. Yeah, I went in today's App Academy thingy. and it was a bit, yeah, yeah. Already almost on 1K, and imagine I started on what, 6. Karabos would guess Naledi, so it's fine. I can end it. No, coding can be done in 9 weeks, guys. Y'all can do it. Trust me. If we can, you see, if we can be as consistent as we are, even when we continue, we can definitely do it. I feel like another thing that would help is if we had like calls where we are on like a call where you guys can ask questions almost like we're in a class. That would be a bit better, because when it comes to, thank you so much for subscribing, when it comes to lives, it's a bit difficult. Number one, there's a delay. Number two, we've got people that ask questions, but so maybe not teams, but something a bit, yeah, Discord, nah. Yeah, I'll definitely look at that, and then let y'all know tomorrow. Also on the WhatsApp. Oh, someone asked for the WhatsApp group link. Yeah, Teams could also work, but yeah, no, we'll see. I'll try and think of what would be the best solution, and then yeah, we'll definitely discuss it, as well as Google Meet. Yes, but let me just speak to the people at App Academy, then we'll see. Yes, I opened a group today actually. That's the QR code I had on the screen is the group. So the QR code, this is the group. If you want to join the group, this is the QR code. No, I won't stop them. So obviously, we just want to make sure we push the live has to continue on YouTube. I think, yeah, a lot of people wanna watch these lives. So thank you so much for joining the team. Okay, but are we all good, guys? Definitely see y'all tomorrow, rats. 7 o'clock tomorrow. 7 o'clock. Wait, we had 938 subscribers. What? 938. Yes. I appreciate you guys. Yo. What? Just that was it yesterday. Yeah. I was celebrating 500 when. Let me see posts. Yesterday. I celebrated 500 yesterday. And then boom. Already. But thank you so much, guys. Oh, why early? Because we need to just continue doing GitHub, because yeah, today was a bit of a mess. So we'll try and do it with 7 p.m. 7 p.m. not a.m. I have to go to work. 7 p.m. Hey, Kawanga a.m. Yo, I've got work tomorrow, so 7 p.m. and then we hopefully will be good. Yeah, I'll look at that. Hey, it's very tricky when it comes to that for me, the monetize stuff, but we'll look into that. The moment there's no need, but yeah, 100%. Obviously, I'm taking so much time on these, so yeah. Silukotini. PM, 7 p.m. 7 p.m. YouTube, 7 p.m. Oh, vlogging. Vlogging, I can't vlog. Thank you guys. Let's end it there. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining my live. See you guys tomorrow. Stay safe, stay blessed, and just keep trying. You'll get there. Just go through the videos and when I trend, I don't know. We'll see when we get there. But bye, guys. Where is this?